Beautiful human being, welcome to another episode of Soul Speaks with Spack. In today's episode, we're going to be diving deep into the topic of healthy masculinity. What it means to be a healthy, conscious, masculine man in this day and age, and how you as a man can start showing up powerfully for yourself, for your family, in your business, for your relationship, for your marriage, for your kids, for your community, for anything in your life that is important to you. This episode is also going to be really powerful for the ladies out there that want to better understand how you can support your man on his journey of healing, growth, and transformation. As always, at the end of this episode, I'm going to share practical tips and steps that you can start taking both as a man and as a woman to embrace more of this healthy masculine energy in your life and in your relationship. So if all of that sounds good, make sure you stick with me until the end because we are about to dive deep. Without further ado, let's dive in. To kick this episode off, I want to share a quick insight with you from my journey going from being the Mr. Nice Guy, being a people pleaser, being a man that was very insecure within myself. I had no idea who I was, what I valued, what my purpose was, and I wasn't able to communicate myself authentically. I wasn't able to express myself. Instead, I was very internally focused, and it wasn't in a healthy way. I was lacking a lot of confidence. I was shaming myself a lot. I was beating myself up a lot, and I would really hold myself back from doing many things in life. For those of you that don't already know, I'm the eldest of three boys. I've got two younger brothers. We're pretty close in age, only a few years apart. And growing up, I'd like to think that I was a really healthy role model for them. We have a close bond, even though we're all very different and unique in our own way. And growing up, of course, we had our moments. We'd punch on, we'd swear, and we'd carry on, and we'd get into heated arguments, which would typically end in fisticuffs. And this, for me, was a normal way of dealing with anger, dealing with emotions. And I didn't really have too much awareness around how I would deal with certain emotions, certain triggers. And typically, it would just be by yelling and screaming and punching and getting angry. And I thought, I'm just a boy. I'm just this is what we do. And that is true to an extent. I think a part of being a masculine man is to have that unfuck with ability, to have that warrior-like energy that lives within you, where if you need to use that, you can really protect and defend yourself and your family and your partner. But I believe the healthy masculine man is able to channel those intense emotions, that anger, that rage, to being more grounded, to being more present, to being more aware. And I believe the healthy, conscious masculine man has this ability to be with the intense emotions, to have the energetic space within his body to feel the emotions without necessarily reacting and being triggered and hurting someone or saying something that he doesn't really mean. So this to me is a skill that I am learning to develop, and I don't act like I have it all figured out. There are still moments where I get triggered and I act on that trigger. I'm not able in that moment to stay present, to stay with it. And sometimes I lash out and say things that I don't really mean. And that's just the truth of it. But I am learning, I am growing, and I'm so much further along than I once was. I used to be a ticking time bomb back in the day. Someone would cut me off in traffic and that would be enough to have me yelling and screaming and putting my finger up and doing all of these things. And now I have become much more of the observer. And I'm very curious about my thoughts. I'm very curious about my feelings. I'm very curious about how I am responding to life moment to moment. And the reason I share this with you is because I want to remind you that there is nowhere to arrive. There's no end destination. And you may see guys like myself putting out content online and you might think, well, I'm not doing all of these things, so I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, or these guys are so much better than me. But the reality is we are all on the path. We are all brothers navigating through this life experience together, step by step, moment by moment. So whatever you see online, as cliche as this may sound, don't compare yourself. Don't think, well, because I'm not doing all of these things that these guys online are saying that I should be doing, then I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I'm so far behind. No, it is so important to be compassionate towards yourself. And what I mean by compassionate, because this word, this idea, took me a while to really grasp and understand as a man. To me, being compassionate is to acknowledge and have empathy towards how I am feeling or to how someone might be feeling, right? It's letting go of the judgment, it's letting go of the criticism, it's letting go of the resistance and allowing yourself to feel what you're feeling. And the way I like to actually visualize this is as though I have an internal mother and an internal father. It's like I'm parenting myself internally. And so when I am super triggered or when I'm super upset, I almost drop into this energy of like a mother internally holding me and hugging me and saying that it's going to be all right, everything's okay. And at the same time, there's also this internal father that is like, you're doing the best that you can, you're showing up every single day, and that's the best that you can do. So your inner world, your inner domain, your inner conversations that you are having are really important as a man, because if you are super critical, if you are super hard on yourself, which I can be sometimes, then what this is going to do is it's going to create a lot of resistance, a lot of stress, and a lot of suffering in your physical body. And you're going to be very critical of your partner. You're going to be very critical of your colleagues. You're going to be very critical of everyone as well, because that's the way that you are towards yourself. And so sometimes the best thing that you can do is take in a deep breath, breathe all the way in from the base of your spine up into your brain and down into your belly, and just breathe fully, breathe deeply. And on the exhale, breathe out all of your air. Surrender, let go, let it flow. That is a mantra that I've been repeating over the last couple of days. I surrender, I let go, I release and let it flow. I release, I let go, I surrender and let it flow. I release, I let go, I surrender and let it flow. I release, I let go, I surrender and I flow. I release, I let go, I surrender and I flow. I release, I let go, I surrender and I flow. I release, I let go, I surrender and I flow. I release, I let go, I surrender and I flow. I release, I let go, I surrender and I flow. I release, I let go, I surrender and I flow. You can really get into the vibration of that. You can really get into the flow of that. And that for me is super fun. So for example, when I am in traffic and there is traffic banked up and maybe I'm running late, this is a little mantra that I bring to mind, and I breathe deeply. I deepen my breath and I observe, and I keep coming back to the breath and I observe, and I'm the witness. And the more patience that I develop within myself, the more patience I develop towards others. And this, I believe, is a real art form, the ability to slow down and be conscious and be aware and be patient with yourself and compassionate towards yourself. Because when you as a healthy, conscious man can be patient with yourself, when you can drop into the present moment by deepening your breath, by exhaling fully, by letting go of all of your air and relaxing all the muscles in your body, this is an absolute game changer. When your wife, when your partner, when your girlfriend is super triggered and super heightened and she's expressing a lot with you, if you are not able to relax and surrender and to be there and to hold that safe space for her, then you're probably going to become heightened as well. And this is going to create this sense of unsafety. So this is why it is a huge and powerful skill as a man to develop the ability to just surrender and be present and let it go. And come back to that mantra. I release, I let go, I surrender and I flow. I release, I let go, I surrender and I flow. I release, I let go, I surrender and I flow. I release, I let go, I surrender and I flow. I need to put a copyright symbol on that because this little mantra that I've just repeated, I picked this up when I was driving home from work one day. I was just driving and there was traffic and there was a lot going on the road, and I felt myself getting a little bit heightened but I came back to this mantra. It just started kind of flowing through me. And I'm like, this rhymes, this has a bit of a jive to it. And then I just started repeating it, and then I started kind of singing it like I've just done now. And this is freaking awesome. This is awesome. I grew up being so afraid of expressing myself and kind of embracing more of this soft feminine side, because I was so worried that people were going to judge me or think you're too feminine, or you're too soft, or you're too this, or you're too that. But I really believe the gift with us as masculine men is to find the nice balance between being strong, being decisive, being assertive, being driven, having goals, having drive, having ambition, but also being able to soften and to embrace the little child that lives within us, and laugh and dance and sing and play and just have fun. This is literally the gift. There's really no right or wrong way to show up in the world, but I believe that you need to find what feels true and authentic to you as a man. You can become very rigid and very structured and very focused on goals and outcomes, and focusing on, the bigger picture, and trying to arrive somewhere, and running through life. It's like it's a marathon, a sprint that you've got to just get through. But then you can also be too soft on the other hand, where you just kind of go with the flow. You don't really care about anything. You're happy to just let everyone else call the shots. You're happy to depend on everyone else for your security and stability. And there's just two ends of the spectrum here, and you've got to find what feels true and authentic for you as a man, and also what allows you to bring your goals to life, also what allows you to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. Sometimes there's moments where you need to be very masculine and very structured and very focused and very goal-oriented and very intentional with where you are channeling your energy each and every moment. But I believe that I am able to bring this balance into most of the things that I do. And one of the ways that I'm able to do this is through my breath, is through being aware of where my energy is moment to moment. And there's definitely moments where I need to be more in that feminine kind of energy, where I'm relaxing and I'm releasing and I'm surrendering and I'm letting go, because I can become very stiff and rigid, and I feel it in my physical body. I feel the tension in my body, and I feel the chaos in my mind as well. But when I'm able to balance these two energies, right? These energies live within all of us, live within everything. Masculine and feminine live within me, they live within you, they live within the rocks, they live within the trees, they live within the birds and the bees and everything, okay? It is within everything. So there is no need for us to reject or repress certain aspects of ourself. And I believe that when I'm able to cultivate both of these energies and find this nice balance throughout my day, life just seems a little more effortless. Things seem to come to me a little more naturally. Things seem to come through me more naturally as well. And I'm now at a place where I can really observe and be aware of when I am forcing something. And I used to continue to just try and force my way through life. And now what I've realized that, hey, in those moments where I'm forcing things, it is an opportunity for me to take a step back, and receive some guidance, receive some insights, and to just simply be present. And this, you could say, is more of that feminine side. And so if right now as a man you feel like you're very rigid, you're very stiff, maybe there's a lot of tension and tightness and stiffness within your body, then this may be a good sign that you need to allow yourself to soften a little bit, to breathe deeply and exhale fully, and let go of the distractions. Let go of the swiping, let go of the scrolling, let go of the responding to emails, let go of the ticking off your to-do list, and simply be present. Breathe deeply, breathe fully, go for a walk, or just sit and just be with the thoughts, be with the feelings. I believe this is the most valuable skill that any man can develop, the ability to embrace both their masculine energy and their feminine energy, and to know what is needed in the moment. Their feminine energy so that they can drop into the present moment, so that they can play, so that they can laugh, so that they can dance and sing with their kids, so that they can have fun, so that they can really connect to their lover, to their partner, to their wife, to their girlfriend. And then on the other hand, that masculine-like energy. So they're clear on their purpose, they're clear on their vision, they're clear on their values, they're clear on their direction, and they're able to bring their goals to life. They have the energy and the clarity to bring their goals to life and to lead their family, to lead their partner, to lead the relationship in a positive direction. These skills are incredibly beneficial, and it is a practice. It is such a powerful practice. And for me, developing the ability to dance between the masculine and the feminine comes back to my awareness, comes back to my breath, comes back to me breathing deeply, breathing fully, exhaling and surrendering and letting go and getting clear on what is needed right now. How do I need to show up? All right, today is the day where I'm pouring energy into my business. I'm clear, I'm focused, I'm intentional. And then when it gets to 5 p.m., when I go home and I'm with the kids, I'm with the family, it is time for me to drop in and to be present and to let go of all of the stuff from the day and to fully be there, to let myself play, to let myself really experience that family time. It is so important to be intentional with your energy as a man, because if you are not, you're going to be leaking energy all over the place. You're not going to be able to bring your goals to life, and your wife, your family, your kids are going to be able to sense your lack of presence. They're going to be able to sense your lack of fulfillment, your lack of energy, your lack of drive, because your energy is leaking all over the place. And so this is why it comes back to recharging your own internal batteries, filling up your own cup and pouring from the overflow. And so for me personally, one of my favorite practices is simply breathing, is simply going out into the woods, bare feet, walking, going in the ocean, getting a nice cold dip, getting a workout in, something that allows me to connect to my body, to let go of all of the to-dos, to let go of all of the emails and responding to this and responding to that, and to really drop in and be fully present. This is something that I need to do daily. This is something that I need to do every single day. And this is something that I challenge you to do as a man. If you are not using some kind of practice that builds your body, that calms your mind, that allows you to show up fully in the world and to recharge your batteries, then I challenge you to find a practice that you enjoy. This is super important. So I started this podcast off with a little bit of a story about my upbringing. And what I didn't mention is that me being the eldest of 3 boys and being my mother's first son, she nurtured me. Man, did she nurture me. She was an over-nurturer, and she would disagree with that. But I called myself the sanitizer baby. It was, don't do this, don't do that, don't touch this, don't touch that. Put sanitizer on, watch out for germs, all of these things, right? A normal mother, especially with her first son, I love her to death. She's incredible. We have a great relationship. And at the same time, from these experiences, I internalized all of this as the world is a scary place. I need to live in fear. I was living in fear. And as a survival strategy, I started people pleasing. I started focusing on the external and thinking, how can I help that person? Or what does that person need? Or what do I need to do so that this person doesn't get angry with me, or that this person doesn't, yell at me and all of these things, or that this person doesn't judge me. And this was very subtle. I was never really aware of it until I got into my first relationship, my first serious relationship. And these people-pleasing tendencies led to me burying a lot of my emotions, and I became resentful towards myself because I was never expressing myself honestly and truthfully. And I'd hold myself back from saying certain things, or I'd hold myself back from feeling certain things. And it wouldn't happen consciously. I wouldn't actually be aware of this happening at the time. It was all happening on a subconscious level, because this is how I learned to survive. This is how I learned to navigate through the world. So this approach to life did not serve me in any way. And this became very apparent when I got into my first serious relationship. And I used to be so afraid of making a decision or even having a voice. I had no idea what my values were. I had no idea that there was even any value within having values. And so because of all of this, I became very passive. I was very passive. On the outside, I lifted weights and I was I was strong and I was muscly, but inside I was internally very fragile and weak. And it really would not take that much to tick me off and to make me feel very angry and for me to explode and say hurtful things. And then afterwards, I'd reflect on it. I'd be like, what was that? Is there a monster inside of me? Am I a monster? Who am I? Why did I respond and react in such an intense way? And my girlfriend at the time also thought the same, right? Like, who is this guy? And what happens in relationships when we as men aren't able to feel our emotions and experience our emotions and be with them and express them to our partner in a way that invites them in to see us, to see our vulnerable side, then there's going to be this disconnection. There's going to be this lack of trust. There's going to be this lack of safety because we haven't had the willingness to take responsibility for our own emotional state. And so in my previous relationship, I was very focused on the external. Well, you said this and that made me angry. And I was very focused on the situation or her. And instead of going within and asking myself, all right, what is this emotion that I'm feeling right now? What is this sensation that's coming up in my body? Have I felt this way before? And if so, what happened back then? Asking myself these questions, it didn't come naturally to me. But the more aware that I became of the repetitive patterns that would play out, of the repetitive feelings that would come up within me, and the way that I would react, this gave me more control. This created more space for me to change the pattern, for me to respond in a different way. And what this did is it helped me better understand myself. And this is a practice. This is always happening. This is a never-ending process, in my opinion. I'm always experiencing different triggers and different feelings, and I'm extremely curious about what is coming up, why it is coming up, and about how I can move forward and about how I can love myself through it, how I can better understand myself and better understand the world. The reason I'm sharing all of this is because I was the nice guy. I was the people pleaser. I was happy to have other people decide for me. I was happy for other people to make decisions for me. And I was living a life that was by someone else's design. I was living a life that, society deemed to be very normal and socially acceptable. I was working an office job. I was wearing a suit and tie. I was going to work every day, sitting behind a desk. And then when the weekend would roll around, I'd be on the beers. I'd be drinking beers. I'd start snorting lines. I'd start popping pills. I'd be having surface level conversations off my head in nightclubs. And I'd wake up on Sunday not knowing what happened the night before and feeling very ashamed of myself, feeling real guilty, feeling disappointed. My bank account's empty. My brain cells are gone. And I've got to start this soul-sucking job tomorrow. I've got to go back to work and start this same vicious cycle in the next week. And this was not a healthy way to live at all. And I'm so glad that I chose a new path, and choosing a new path required me to take ownership and take responsibility and to realize that I have so much power within what I choose to do in life. The choice is mine. I don't have to work this job. I don't have to go out and party on the weekend. I don't even have to drink. Actually, quitting alcohol, it's been over 2 years now, is still one of the best decisions that I've ever made because, one, it's allowed me to kind of get rid of that mental exhaustion of, should I drink? Should I not drink? Oh, what are people going to think of me? No, now that I just say, I don't drink anymore. My bank account is way happier. My gut is way happier. My brain is way happier. Every aspect of my life has improved since I've let go of alcohol. And I'm not suggesting that anyone else go and do that. This is just something that has been a huge game changer for me because I never had a healthy relationship with alcohol. It was 0 to 100 very quick. And I'd never stop at 1. It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20, gone. I don't remember anything. And yeah, that's not a way that I live anymore. And I'm grateful. I'm so grateful because it just isn't for me. As simple as that. It's not for me. And It is for some people, and that's okay. I don't judge. I don't judge in any way. This is just a value that I have now, and this is something that now I don't even have to think twice about. For me, letting go of that way of life was rather effortless, and that was probably because I was traveling around the world. I disappeared from Australia for a couple of years and traveled around the world, did a lot of solo travel, did a lot of spontaneous travel. And what this did is it challenged me to start making decisions for myself. It challenged me to start meeting new people. It challenged me to start better understanding myself. And solo travel for me was an absolute game changer. It helped me better understand myself. It helped me develop this level of trust within myself. It helped me reconnect to this little boy that always has lived within me. But I realized that for many years throughout my teenage years, I really disconnected from this little child. I became very stiff and rigid and insecure and afraid and judging myself and judging others. And it wasn't a good place. It was a dark place. But at the same time, I've got nothing but love for that younger version of myself. That wounded boy, that teenage boy that was doing the drugs and partying and, drinking a bunch of alcohol and working a job that sucked my soul dry completely. I've still got love for that version of myself because he didn't know any better. He was just doing the best that he could with what he knew at the time. And I got nothing but love for him. I'm not going to, I did go through a period where I was really shaming that version of myself and thinking, what a failure, how embarrassing, all of these things. But now I've come to this space within myself where I got nothing but love and compassion for these previous versions of myself. And that's a beautiful place to arrive at when you cut that energetic cord and you let go of that tension and that resistance towards all that was. It's freeing. It's freeing because the past is already gone. The future doesn't even exist yet. And all I have is right now. So why do I become so attached to how things are going to work out in the future and who I've been in my past? Why is it so challenging for me to just allow myself to fully be here right now, rather than worrying over who I've been in my past or worrying about how things could go horribly wrong in the future? When I direct my attention, my awareness, my energy to this moment right now, this is the place where I want to be. So in case you haven't already noticed, in these episodes, I don't have a huge amount of structure. I allow myself to flow and go wherever we need to go. So I want to dial it back and, as promised, give you some practical tips that you as a man can start incorporating into your life to embrace more of this healthy masculine energy. The first place to begin is getting clear on the energy and the intent behind your actions. I do not want you to go on this journey for someone else, for your girlfriend, for your family, for your partner. I want you to do it for you. I want you to commit to yourself that you're going to cultivate more of this healthy masculine energy for yourself. Because I guarantee by you cultivating this masculine energy, this healthy masculine energy for yourself, this is going to ripple out into every aspect of your life. This is going to ripple out into your intimate relationship with your girlfriend, with your wife, with your fiance, with your family, with your kids, in your business, with your community. All of these things that are really important to you in your life are going to feel the impact of you cultivating this healthy masculine energy from the inside out. But you've got to do it for you. You've got to do it because you're worth it. You've got to do it because you're a powerful fucking human being. You're incredible. And it makes me emotional just thinking and feeling into it, because I remember how hard I used to be on myself as a man, as a little boy. I used to be so self-critical. I used to have so much self-doubt, and I never used to have a voice. And I didn't think that I really mattered in any way. And the paradox is that 10, 20, 30, 40 years after I die, it's not really going to matter that much anyway. So there is a level of insignificance within this body that I'm in. But what I choose to do with my time here on earth, there is a lot of value within that. And so I invite you as a man, if you feel like you have no self-worth, if you're kind of like, what's the point? I invite you to drop into that. I invite you to think about that. The time that you get to spend here in this body, on this earth, is very, very valuable. You have the ability to impact other people's lives in such a positive way, but it all starts within. You must give yourself that permission to love yourself, to embrace yourself, to understand yourself, to get to know yourself. What do I like? What do I want to do in life? What do I want to experience? Who do I want to become? What is the highest version of me as a man? What do I really value? What are my values? For me right now, it's health, it's travel and adventure and exploration. It is connection. It is making real life connections. It is family. It is business. It is having a purposeful career that gives me joy, that allows me to have a positive impact in the world. These are my values. So what do you value as a man? How can you become clear on what you value? Journal on them, write them down, share them with a friend, share them with a safe person, share them with your partner. The more clear that you can become on who you are, what you value, what you want to create, what you want to experience, the less your energy is leaking in all these different directions, the less likely you are to be distracted with drugs and vaping and porn and gambling and numbing yourself and distracting yourself. The more focused you're going to be, because the clearer you are. Now you're clear on your purpose, you're clear on your vision, you're clear on your values, you're clear on who you are becoming. And this way now you can start channeling your energy towards that and using practices, using activities in your everyday life that get you closer towards where you're going. So for me right now, this is reading books. This is exploring my curiosity, learning about topics that I'm interested in. This is having deep and meaningful conversations with my girlfriend. This is working towards a powerful vision of the future for myself and also alongside my girlfriend, moving towards building a beautiful family, having a beautiful home, having the ability to travel all around the world, having a purposeful business that makes a positive impact on the lives of others, using a simple breathing practice, a meditation practice, something that allows me to drop into the present moment and become aware of my thoughts, to become aware of my feelings, to become present of how I am showing up in the world. This is creatively expressing myself through video content, through courses, through programs, through coaching, through mentoring. I use a strength training practice to build my body, to feel strong and to feel confident in my body. These are the practices that I love to use, that work for me, that fill me up, that fill my cup up. And I don't use all of them every single day, but I know what is needed moment to moment. And this is a really powerful skill to develop as a man. So this is the first piece. I want you to get clear on what your values are, what your vision is, what your mission is, what your purpose is, where you want to go in life. Get clear on that. Know that you are valuable. Know that you are important. Know that you matter. Know that you have a voice. Know that you have the ability to impact other people's lives in such a positive way. But it requires you getting out of your own way. The second tip I have for you as a man to embrace more of your healthy masculine energy is to become more aware of what your patterns are, what your triggers are, what your compulsions are. What are the typical things that piss you off? What are the things that make you angry? What are these compulsions that you have to check your phone, to go to the fridge, to eat, maybe to go off and to jerk off, or to do certain things? What are the emotions that you are trying to avoid in these moments? What is it that you're trying to distract yourself from? Can you channel your energy, your focus, your attention inwards to notice what it is that you are distracting yourself from? Can you notice what patterns are playing out? Can you notice what feelings are coming up when you're being triggered? And then can you get clear on what your way forward is? What do you want to do instead? What is your new way forward? The ultimate way to break a bad habit and replace it with a good habit is to first of all become aware of what is this habit? What is this thing that is limiting me, that is distracting me, that is negatively impacting my life? And what is the emotional state that I'm in when I resort to this habit? What is the pain that I'm trying to avoid? What is it that I'm trying to distract myself from? And what is the new habit? What is the new way forward? What is the thing that I'm going to replace this with? And then when I notice and observe myself going towards that bad habit, but I choose this new path, what is the reward? You need to reward yourself. You need to give yourself some kind of reward for choosing that new path to reinstill this new habit, this new way forward. So become aware of what your negative habits are. Become aware of what your new habit is going to be. And become aware of the energy that is behind all of these actions that you're taking on a daily basis. Because what this is going to do is it's going to give you more control to choose a new path and to forge that new path and to make that new path a new part of your reality to the point where you don't even really have to think about it anymore. There's no longer this mental exhaustion of, should I go here? Should I go there? It's just this new way of being that gets ingrained into your physical state, into your energetic state, into your mental and emotional state as well. The third tip that I have for you to embrace more of your healthy masculine energy is to simply spend more time alone, to spend more time quiet and still, and to spend more time just asking yourself these deeper existential questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What am I here to create? Who do I want to be? What do I want to experience? Who do I want to surround myself with? Spending more time alone, asking yourself these deeper questions, it creates a stronger bond, a stronger connection to yourself. And this ripples into every single aspect of your life. The more clear you are on who you are, the more certain you are on who you are, the more certain you are on where you are going, the more magnetic you become, the more people want to become a part of your journey and become a part of your story, and they become fascinated about you because you've become fascinated about yourself. The fourth tip that I want to give you is to start creating something. Now, this could be a business, this could be a family, but what I'm encouraging you to do is pursue some sort of creative endeavor. For me, it has been creating my content. It's been video editing. It's been coaching. It's been building my business. And I grew up with this idea that I'm not really creative. I'm just not creative. I'm not smart. I'm not intelligent. All of these limiting beliefs. And what I've discovered since building my business and creating this content and editing this content is that it is a form of art. Movement is a form of art. Creating content, expressing yourself is a form of art. Everything is a form of art in life if you choose to see it that way. And for me as a man, learning to express myself and create content and share my message, share my heart, share my thoughts and my feelings and everything with the world, this has been such a gift. It's been such a gift for me. I know that it's impacted so many people in such a positive way. And this is what I encourage you to do as a man. It doesn't have to be putting yourself out there on video. It doesn't have to be creating content. You could start a blog. You could start a newsletter. You could start a men's circle. You could start coaching little kids. You could do whatever you want to do. Something that invokes your creativity. Something that allows you to just express yourself in such a way. Because I know myself as a man, there's been many moments where it feels like the world is closing in on me. There's too much that is needed of me in this world, and there's no time or space for myself. And so through expressing myself, through sharing my content, through sharing my voice, it's kind of like I'm creating more internal space. I'm letting go of all of this stuff that is in here. And so I'm no longer being overwhelmed and bombarded by the outside world. I'm actually influencing and impacting the outside world through creatively expressing myself, sharing my thoughts, sharing my ideas. It creates physical space inside my body. So with all of that being said, this wraps up today's episode on healthy masculinity. As always, if you found this episode valuable, please let me know in the comments. Share this with a friend. Share it on your social media. I love seeing how these episodes impact and benefit you in a positive way. And thank you for being here. It is an honor to be able to share my heart, my energy with you. And as always, if there's anything in particular that you want to learn more about, or if there's something that sparked your curiosity, let me know in the comments, because that's going to help me create future episodes that are more geared towards what it is that you want to learn. So with all of that being said, it has been an honor. Thank you for joining me. Have an amazing day.